It's Middle Eastern fragrance review time again, folks, and in this episode I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Turathi Brown from Afnan Perfumes. This smells very similar to a much more expensive high-end fragrance, so to find out which one I'm talking about and whether this one's worth picking up, stay tuned to Mags Frags. Yes, hello again everybody, and thank you very much once again for tuning into this latest episode of Mags Frags. My name's Paul, and like I said in the intro, today is all about Afnan Turathi Brown, which I think came out in 2020 or 2021, along with a blue version, which is said to be similar to Bleu de Chanel, but I haven't actually tried that one yet, so I can't really tell you how close they are in terms of comparison. So, a fairly recent release, and it's described as a spicy oriental fragrance. It's an eau de parfum concentration, and it comes in a 90ml bottle size. You can currently pick this one up from the Notino website for £35.50, but they usually have some kind of promotional discount on, so you can pick it up for under £30 if you buy it at the right time. It's actually a copy of YSL's Tuxedo, which is part of the YSL Premium Blend range, which costs £240 a bottle. However, you can also pick up Rochas Moustache EDP, which is probably the closest copy to Tuxedo that I've personally come across so far. And as you can see, the bottle is now empty, and this was probably my third or fourth bottle of this stuff because I've just kept decanting it for people to try. But the price of this has just shot up over recent months, and it's now selling for about £70 a bottle, which is double what it used to be. Although it does come in a 125ml bottle size as opposed to the 90ml, but still a decent alternative to the original Tuxedo. Okay, so into the presentation, and the fragrance comes in a rigid cardboard presentation box in like a reddy brown colour with lots of intricate detailing. On the front is the name of the house and the fragrance, as well as the size and the concentration, which are all printed in gold. But this logo in the centre is actually cut out of wafer-thin metal, and it's just stuck directly onto the box, and it does have like a raised edge, and it's really sharp, and it could give you like a nasty little paper cut if you ran your fingers over it. So if you are thinking about picking this one up, just be careful when you're handling the box. But apart from that, the quality of the presentation, it just looks and feels quite good for a Middle Eastern brand. There's a small Afnan logo at the top there, and then we've also got a large sticker on the back of the box with all your product information on. There's a flip-up lid which reveals the bottle, which is mounted inside this like plush black velour surround, and then on the underside of the lid there's some gold script that talks about the fragrance being for a successful man that's in control of his goals and his destiny. So obviously not a fragrance for me then, but hey ho. I do like this little touch here where they've included two little indents in the surround so that you can get your fingers in to easily remove the bottle. And again, I'd say the bottle feels really decent quality. It feels really nice and heavy when you've got it in your hand, and it's just good quality with a solid metal click-on cap. And you also get like a see-through glass, so you can view the level of the juice inside, which I always like. I'm not too keen on the shape of the bottle though, with this kind of wide shoulder thing going on, and it does remind me a little bit of the suits that Grace Jones wore back in the 1980s with the giant shoulder pads, and it is a little bit on the tacky side. However, it definitely doesn't feel cheap when you're handling it, but then again, every Afnan fragrance that I've tried so far have all had like a premium quality feel to them. The spray quality of the atomizer is excellent, and you get a big blast of juice, and yeah, I'd say the presentation on this overall for a Middle Eastern fragrance is really high quality. But apart from this thing, I don't like this way you can't, the lid you have to put in the exact right position, otherwise it won't go on. Apart from that, it's not too bad. The top notes in this are violet leaf, coriander and bergamot. In the heart, we've got rose, black pepper and lily of the valley. And the base notes are patchouli, ambergris and vanilla. Okay, so if you are familiar with how Tuxedo smells, you are going to instantly pick up on a fairly strong resemblance from this one right from the first spray. That is until you compare them directly side by side, and then you realise that there is a little bit of a difference between the two. However, it's close enough that if somebody were just going to walk past me in the street wearing this, I'd probably think that they was wearing the original Tuxedo. But after testing them side by side, I'd say there is a little bit of a difference, and I'd say that this one comes off a little bit more spicy and, dare I say it, a bit more harsh and cheap smelling. The violet leaf and the coriander in the opening are quite prominent, and for the first 20 minutes you get a nice, bright, clean but fairly metallic introduction to the scent. There's also a vinegar-like bitterness lurking in the background and some earthy patchouli that brings a bit of a masculine dirtiness to the base. But the major accord in this is the spicy kick that you get from the black pepper and the coriander. There's also a touch of floral sweetness in there from the rose and the lily of the valley, and basically I'd describe this as being inspired by Tuxedo rather than being an out and out clone of it. In my opinion, Tuxedo is noticeably better blended and it's just more rounded and smooth. It's also a touch more sweet with more prominent vanilla, whereas I think this is a bit more patchouli heavy in the base. Tuxedo is a bit more easy to wear, I'd say, than this, but don't get me wrong, this still smells like a really modern, masculine and sexy fragrance with all the same accents as Tuxedo, but just with a bit more of a Middle Eastern spicy twist on it. This Rochas moustache would still be my choice if you're actually looking for a straight up clone, but this is great if you just like the idea of a remix of an original. This is masculine and sophisticated smelling with a very recognisable scent profile. It's a strong and powerful scent that smells very, very expensive and very classy. This is the perfect autumn and early winter fragrance, and it works great when you're wrapping up warm in like a duffel coat and a thick scarf and just heading out on a brisk autumnal day for a walk amongst the falling leaves. It has a really crisp and comforting scent profile, and whenever I smell it I just get the feeling that like it's the festive season's just around the corner, and it's the combination of the spices and the earth notes which just makes it work so well as a cold weather outdoor fragrance. This is probably best suited to wear as a dressed up evening fragrance for more formal occasions, because it's very, very charming and sophisticated, and maybe that's why it's called Tuxedo. This isn't for your average 20-year-old to wear at a nightclub where they're selling 3 bottles of Smirnoff Ice for £1. This is for your professional, sharply dressed gentleman aged between 30 and 50 who enjoys the finer things in life. I'd say the performance on this is above average. It's not as long lasting as the original Tuxedo, nor does it project as well, but you do get 7 to 8 hours out of it, and the projection is good enough to get you noticed by anyone who's within kind of a 6 feet radius of you. I've worn this a few times now and I get constant wafts from it all up throughout the day, and even outdoors it just cuts through the cold air really well. For the price that you pay, it over delivers on performance, and it'll be fine for most of you guys out there. Yeah, this is a really classy, sophisticated and modern smelling fragrance with like a mature elegance to it. I'd say it's about 75 to 80% similar to the real Tuxedo from YSL, but to be honest I do actually prefer the original and also the Rochas moustache copy over this one. But you've got to think about the price, and this comes in at half the price of the Rochas and over 6 times cheaper than the original, with only relatively subtle differences, so it represents excellent value for money. Like I mentioned earlier, I'd think that this was the original if I caught a waft of it in the air, and it's only when you do a direct comparison that you are going to notice these subtle differences. But if you enjoy spicier scents with that powerful Middle Eastern quality, then you may even prefer this interpretation. It's definitely worth a try, and I'd say pick this one up if it's available in your country, and I would give Turathi Brown a solid 7.5 out of 10. Yes, so once again, that's about it for today's Scent of the Day. But don't forget, coming up over the next week or so, we're going back to some cologne and inspired by Fragrance Hall reviews. I've got some cracking reviews from the Perfume Parlour, KDJ inspired, and also the Essence Vault. So don't forget to look out for those. And as always, if you have enjoyed this content and you found the video at all useful, then please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It's also always great to hear all your thoughts and your opinions and your critiques on all of the fragrances that feature in these videos. So don't forget to keep your comments coming down in the comments section. So once again, thank you very much for tuning into this latest episode. Stay safe, keep smelling fresh, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Bye bye for now.